Welcome to the Braxton County Board of Education's regular meeting of June 17th. And I will call this meeting to order, and I want to first thank the retired ladies for bringing in, I don't know, there may be a gentleman too here. I sure don't want to leave them out if they helped with all the great food, but thank you very much for that. It's always welcomed and appreciated because we do like to eat. So. But please join me with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. There are no delegations signed up to speak tonight, and this is always a highlight of our meeting when we can recognize folks who have contributed to the education system. And tonight we're going to recognize the service and professional retired employees for the 24-25 school year. And I'll turn it over to Dr. Dietrich.
Yes. As President Post said, this is a great time. We are able to honor our employees. You've dedicated your lives to our students, to Braxton County. You've been a servant to our kids. And I am very grateful. I'm very grateful for the great work that you've done. I do know most of you sitting here, and I personally know that you've done phenomenal jobs. You're going to be very, very missed. I certainly hope that you come back and substitute if possible. I've already hit several of you up to please come back and do that. Again, very appreciative. We're also very appreciative of the Retired Teachers Association coming out, supporting your colleagues. It's great that they continue to come out in numbers to just to be here and give good food and recognition. So I would like to we just want to recognize each of you and give you a certificate and shake your hands if that's okay.
And get a picture.
And get a picture.
And don't forget, we're taking sub-apps. So. We're short on counselors too this space.
Sorry, it's a hard
We just can't break the law by bribery. So. And the judge he'll appreciate that.
There you go.
He would be great in our law enforcement classes at the high school. Put you and Andy Shingler together, now that'd be awesome.
That would be two characters.
Yeah, I don't know that we can stand that. First, I'd like to recognize Michelle Wilson. I know Michelle is very respected by her colleagues. She does such a wonderful job, probably one of the best in the county. So very, very grateful for all that you've done.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We got to be inside those big pieces of tape. Well, no, you all need to move this way. Someone said, come on down there.
I have to say that she had my little great niece, both of them, in kindergarten. Awesome.
You ready? 1, 2, 3.
Speech.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. I'll miss being part of it.
But you can sub.
How easy it is to apply to be a sub. How hard is that process?
You'll have to talk to her.
If you apply right now before July the 7th, we can get you in. After that, we have to wait 60 days.
Ooh.
The legislature has changed now, 60 days. So,
Congratulations. Looking forward
Thank
to
you for your
that.
service. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you. I would hope it wasn't to you.
I'm glad I got you started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hired me, so I quit calling the office.
Yeah.
I call often.
Yeah. Just wait, thanks, we'll get a group picture.
Oh, okay.
So what-
it must
yeah,
be a
just
good thing she didn't cuss you or anything.
No.
Linda Utt. Now, Linda is another fabulous person who has done a wonderful job, and I'll let you. Thank you. Just stand there.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Thank you, Linda, for all that you've done. We really appreciate you.
Congratulations.
Okay, we would love for you to.
Thank you, Amy.
We would love for you to.
Congratulations, ladies.
Yes, please consider it.
Depends on how
This
bored-
one, I hold, she's done incredible things with students. It's been truly amazing to see how she's been able to work with some of these kids that, that no one else could really help. And I'll have to say, that's Carol Young. She's done that, yes. She's probably one of the most caring and compassionate people I've ever met in my life. Carol, I do really truly appreciate you. She's done a phenomenal job.
1, 2, 3.
Congratulations. Thank you for your.
You can catch. I've known this lady for many, many years. And met her when I was getting my master's in counseling. And what a wonderful person, Patricia Facemeyer.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
And she has wonderful sons. Yep. They're okay.
And a pretty good husband.
Yeah. And a pretty wonderful
Yeah.
husband.
1, 2, 3.
And it's kind of, it's like a flash, throwback Tuesday, I guess, because Dr. Seal was the superintendent when I got hired, and Mrs. Post was on the board. So, I don't know what that says about any of us.
Now we're getting old.
We're aging like fun.
We're aging in place,
Yes.
right? Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much for everything.
Thanks, Pat.
Thank you for hiring me.
Thank you for.
This other lady, again, is another one that's just near and dear to my heart. She took on a personal challenge I had for her, and I was just teasing and laughing about it, but my daughter's not the greatest in math. Well, I didn't know. I said, well, she's got to get promised scholarship. Someone's got to help her. Well, Lori Stover said, I got just the woman that can do it. I said, okay, Sharon Desper. And so I called up Sharon Desper. She said, yeah, I'll help her. So she helped Lindsay. Lindsay's math scores shot right up, no problems at all. I was like, wow, she must be a fantastic math teacher. And she's like, well, that's not my background. And so she had both of my children. My son thinks she's the best thing since sliced bread. Sharon Desper.
She said she'll be back.
I gotta listen. She can't leave us.
She really hadn't left, so.
We need a picture.
Can we get a picture with you?
Get a picture. Oh.
You gotta start off.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Wait a minute, you have to go all the way down.
We have Sandra Fisher, who is also retired. Patty Montgomery, she was not able to be here tonight, so I really hated that. She had planned to come. She's feeling a little under the water. Dawn Jo James, also retired, and Linda Sears. So all fine ladies who, you know, did wonderful jobs.
Come on back over here, let's get a group.
As a group picture, and one sweet top, Janet.
We gotta be in between these two green
Janet,
pieces
how
of
do you
tape.
want us? Janet's the boss of this show.
No, no. Yeah, stagger. I'm gonna stagger everybody. Stagger.
You're good.
Do I need to slide?
Gotta be in between those two green pieces of tape.
Can they still see you?
Okay, sorry, I can see it up.
Okay, you ready? One, 1, 2, 3. All right, my turn.
Is that it?
Nope, one more, newspaper, sorry.
1, 2, 3. Okay.
Congratulations, thank you. So again, I would like to thank the Retired Teachers Association. You know, it's, not everyone has such support in their counties. So we're very, very fortunate to have you. I'm very, very appreciative. So maybe some of you gals will join them and help continue this, these celebrations and support. So thank you.
John. I know they're young ladies, so no doubt.
We will have substitute positions posted for anyone who
Donna Combs, math instructors needed. We can just see how proud they're. Get tired. Thank all the retired folks for bringing in the wonderful food again.
Hey, Evelyn,
Yes.
I got one thing to say. It's Braxton County Association of School Retirees. No, among teachers, school retired employees. We have service personnel too.
Retirees. My apologies, I went back and asked someone for the correct name.
You're not the only one.
I did
It's
ask
a
you.
retired teacher, so.
It was one
I
of your
already
retired
told her
people.
that you corrected me last year.
Ask Gail Balworth, she's the one that told me.
I'll get her.
I knew that they had incorporated the service personnel in their group, which was good.
I did go ask. I said, I don't want to get this wrong.
But we appreciate you. Well, we'll, thank you for everything. We'll move along now to the continuous school improvement. Any updates on that?
I don't have anything tonight. Just, we're continuing to go through our data. We're, planning for summer school sessions. We've, which they're planned, we're planning professional development for, the next school year. So we have a lot of work ahead of us this summer. I'm really proud of all the gains that we've made, this year in our testing. But we do not have our final results yet with the students who moved into our county who, here less than 135 days, those students' results get pulled out. So that means that we will, we anticipate our scores even being higher.
All right. right, we'll move next then to consent agenda items, approval of minutes of June 3rd and June 10th, special meeting, budget transfers and supplements, treasurer's report, and payment of bills. Entertain the motion.
There's only one issue with the minutes, since she's not here, but the time on our special meeting was PM instead of AM.
We were here early.
Okay.
You can remember that. It was right down in the text, at the very top banner that nobody ever looks at. The time was 8:45 PM.
I'll go ahead and move that we approve the consent agenda items as presented.
Let's say,
Been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda items as presented with that one little correction time as noted. Any discussion on the motion? No discussion. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Moving next to personnel matters, the superintendent is requesting an executive session under 6(9)A, 4(B), 2(A). Yeah, we just found it on spring, so let it finish claims.
I'll make a motion to move into executive session under 6(9) Alpha 4, Bravo 2 Alpha. Discuss matters of personnel.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded to enter into executive session to discuss personnel matters. Under the authorization code as specified. Any discussion on that motion? No discussion. Those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. It is 6:20, entering into. You will go over to the Braxton County Board of Education is now out of executive session and back into regular session, discussing personnel and, move next. There were no decisions, of course, made in executive session. We'll move next to the updated personnel, professional recommendations and resignations. Patricia Dean resigns her position as substitute teacher. Recommending employment of Sue Ann White, fifth grade teacher, Addison Woods, kindergarten teacher, both at Flatwoods Elementary. Recommendation of employment of Misty Jackson, elementary, EPL aide, Sutton Elementary. Chris Riston, bus operator, 41A. Resignations of Caleb Davis, his position as cross-country coach for the middle school. Resigns effective June 4th. Shannon Rhodes resigns his position as assistant boys basketball coach at the middle school. Recommend employment of Jennifer Johnson, credit recovery teacher. Forrest Drew Taylor, boys basketball coach, Braxton County Middle School. Danielle Berry, volleyball coach, middle school. Tina Johnson, softball coach, middle school. Nathan Smar, summer mowers, custodians, all locations. Stephen Bowles, summer custodian painter. And other recommendations, permission to post and hire the following positions for substitute summer bus operators to be paid for with county funds. Also, to hire family engagement CIS school improvement liaison to be paid for with federal funds and county funds. And to also rescind the following hires: Forrest Taylor, credit recovery teacher, Braxton County High School. Rescind the following transfer terminations: Christina McCord returns to pre-K ECAT. Leanne Meadows returns to pre-K Head Start. Lisa Legg returns to Head Start Family Service Provider. Jessica Porto returns to Head Start Family Service Provider. And Dr. Letha Williams seeks to be paid for 12 and a half hours of unused, or 12 and a half unused vacation days pursuant to Braxton County Board of Education Policy 3630. Those are the recommendations, and I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion, we approve the personnel recommendations as written.
I'll second that motion.
Been moved and seconded to approve the updated personnel, professional and service recommendations. Any discussion on that motion?
I take it that Head Start has told us we're gonna get our money.
My understanding, yes.
Wrong.
It's day-to-day.
Well, I think, when we rescind the transfers and terminations, some of them are Head Start there. I'm assuming that,
Yes.
I know that, I've been following in the newspaper, I don't know what congressional lobbyists would say, but it looks good because the president hadn't had Head Start in the budget to begin with. But I understand that he has changed his position, and then there's posturing going on with the Senate and the House both. That, of course, they've tried to get rid of Head Start forever. It's one of those 60s Great Society programs. It really is a good program. It's the kids, and it's the poorest kids of the poor,
Yep.
And that's why it needs to be kept.
Okay, no further discussion. Those in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Superintendent updates?
Yeah.
I don't have any.
Nothing more. No old business, we'll move to new business. Discussion and approval of United Dairy proposal for milk and dairy products for 25-26 school year with 3 optional renewal years in the amount of $165,784.75.
Letha put that RFP out for us. She put it out twice. The first time there was no bidders. Second time, we had one bidder, and there's only one provider for the states, my understanding. And the numbers are a high estimate. That's not how many we'll actually purchase. But it says, we have 3 optional renewal years before milk has to be bid out again.
A lot of milk.
So you want United Dairy approved, they were the only bidder.
Yes, they were the only bidder.
Our only option.
I've been reading that politicians are wanting whole milk back on the menu. I don't see any whole milk being cheaper.
Everything's fat-free or 1%.
But we'll cross that bridge when we cross it.
When a decision is made.
We can't go on what you read.
Yeah, because it sometimes changes and many times not for the best. All right, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the Braxton County Schools milk purchase for $165,784.75 from United Dairy Incorporated.
I'll second that motion.
Moved and seconded to approve United Dairy's bid proposal in the amount of $165,784.75. Any discussion on that motion? No discussion, those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Moving next to approval of proposal from Diligent Corporation for Board Docs annual subscription in the amount of $5,100 to be paid out of county funds.
And that's just our, as it says, it's annual subscription, Board Docs. Everyone's used to using it, so I don't feel like really any reason to navigate from it. We have to have the approval before July 1st.
We had a former technology person that said that we could do that through another system with our, but,
We could actually do it through Teams. But right now, everything has to be downloaded and navigated from the system by July 1. And there's just not time to do that. I'm not sure, there's been some other discussions we've heard, which from the state, we're not sure if.
It was a rumor.
It was a rumor, so we're not sure what all's going on with it at this point, but it is what we currently use. It's easy to search and.
I don't know if Dr. Seal remembers, but you were here with me when we got here. And it was sometime after 2020, under Kathy Heights, she and the board president got together and decided to, I mean, you can check the records if you'd like, but I don't ever recall, I mean, they just started using it and told us, well, that's what we're using now. And I had to, I mean, there was no instruction. Do you remember that, Dr. Seal? There was little to no instruction to board members. And I opposed it then, and I you know, it's okay, but to spend $5,100 if we can get by without having to use it, and the State Department doesn't require it.
Yeah. The problem is now all of the stuff.
Ever
Right.
even go on.
But we're required to have all of our minutes and agendas posted online. And if we would have to download all of that stuff and have another system by July 1. That's the problem.
But we can, I mean, that's something that, I mean, I'm all about saving money. and we can absolutely, work on that.
I mean, it's not a lot of money, I mean,
Right.
sometimes you have to look at convenience and how it serves you. But I can remember when it happened and I'm like, board dogs? Who made this decision?
Yeah, you can do it on Teams, and I mean, it's something I've not asked Nate to do it, but I mean, he's pretty smart on this stuff, he can figure out about anything, so. I mean, if that's something, for next year, we can certainly look at it.
I mean, if it serves us well and that's what you want and we're getting the biggest bang for the bucks, then there's a lot of things that's forced upon us as a body to approve that we don't always agree with, but because the state's telling us or the feds are telling us, then a lot of times we reluctantly have to approve and spend money.
Right.
I'm accustomed to it now, but I'm just saying how it
Well,
migrated into this system.
Yeah, and it's going to change. It's going to, that's the problem. So this system that exists now is going away.
Board Docs is being absorbed by Diligent, so the interface will change, the structure will change. It's going to look completely different.
But we'll make sure that you're trained on it well, if it's approved.
It's a matter of efficiency, I don't know, $5,100, if you had to hire somebody else or somebody, piece of their time, go into it, I just don't, before we just say we're gonna do it through Teams, we need to figure out how you do it through Teams.
But I'm sure, you recall.
I remember a discussion about the board docs, and I think that it is pretty universally used in the state.
It is.
But the point was, it was never brought to us
And
officially.
it's like it's a subscription, and I don't think it was ever bid out.
The board president and the superintendent did it.
Well, what I'll do is, we'll evaluate this again, I'll have Nate look at it, so sometime before next year, and maybe sooner than later, we'll look at it, and then I'll come back with a recommendation of how I think we need to move forward. And then do that.
Sure. You can do a cost analysis both ways.
We could, yeah, I mean, I have them so covered up with so many jobs this
Yes.
summer, so, probably.
I move that the board docs annual subscription in the amount of $5,100 be approved for Diligent Corporation.
I'll second that motion.
Been moved and seconded to approve the annual subscription for Diligent Corporation, since it's going that route, in the amount of $5,100 be paid out of county funds, be approved. Any discussion on the motion? Only thing I would say is be diligent in the efforts of what we're doing here. Because my experience hasn't been the best.
Yeah.
Those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries.
Ms. Post, once they change over, I can organize a training for the board members so that I can show you the changes, and that way you'll be familiar with it and it's not a shock.
That would be good.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We can be slow learners sometimes.
I can be a slow teacher.
That's the spirit.
Okay, approval of Encova as workers' comp carrier for 25-26.
Yes, we had 3 bids. There was a $164 difference between this person and the other. And from my understanding, there just wasn't such a good experience maybe with one with the other. And there was only $164 difference, so our treasurer asks that I recommend Encova.
Any problems with, is there an analysis made that would justify, other than prior experience?
that would justify the only thing I know is they had the rubric for, the scoring rubric for the workers' comp carriers, and she
There's
just told
more
me.
things that can be considered besides the bottom line too.
Well, right, no, she told me that there was some, experiences, I don't remember all the details, but she just told me that there was some issues and that she would prefer not to use because of the issues, and the dollar amount was so close because of the prior issues. I honestly did not write them down.
And we've had this one for several years, I believe.
So she said she
We had
was.
COVID.
Well, it's kind of interesting, I mean, I shouldn't bring my own private business in on this, but I'm not wild about in COVID these days. I'm bidding mine out in the fall. This mine comes up January 1, so.
I just didn't want to talk about the three bidders and things that, I liked or didn't like about them. I mean, it was just.
It's, my experience has been, and I can speak from experience. My experience has been, if you get a good claims rep appointed to take care of your account, and that's what you've got to do, then you'll do fine. But if you get Jim, Joe, and John, and Betty, and you've got all these different claim representatives working your claims, you're gonna lose in the end. Because what happens, and you all know, we should be managing our claims. I mean, we should not have the position that, oh, well, it's insurance, letting COVID cover it. But you have to manage those claims, or your EMOD's gonna go sky high. We do have a good EMOD, and that's a great thing, because a lot of your premium is based on your EMODs, and that's your accident rates. And, my recommendation would be, because I've been through the ringer with a lot of these claims reps, is to make sure you speak up and get you a good claim rep.
And if you want, I don't have a problem with, if you would like to table this and set it aside for the next board meeting, I can ask her to come in, or I can get more details. I just did not. So, I mean, I don't have a problem with that, because quite honestly, we have a meeting scheduled for July 1st. So I was gonna ask the board about meeting possibly on June 30th. And,
Kevin, did you have a question?
Yeah, I kind of goes along with just what Ken is, because based on the AM Best ratings, Travelers is a better company than Encova as well from a service provider, frankly, but I don't know, without seeing the rubric, it's hard to.
yeah,
So
I don't have that.
So we are currently with Encova, period. We've been with Encova, the board.
Yes, we have.
That's what I thought.
Ginger presented
That's what I thought.
their quote and everything last year.
Yeah, question.
Because I recognized someone from it.
So
I think we looked at
Yeah,
the rubric on
we did. She
the
presented
thing
all
last
of
year,
this.
and it was determined that was, I think, with the lowest responsible bidder.
Yeah.
There's other issues with
Right.
things besides just the money.
So now they're $164 above the lowest bidder. But again, I don't think it's an issue, especially if we can meet, June 30th or something. And I don't know if the board would want to consider changing your July 1st date later, if we could move June 30th to do some final closeout. That was something I was gonna ask maybe next week.
We're gonna need to have a meeting on the 1st.
I'll do that.
No,
No, that's every 2 years when you
right,
have your organizational meeting. I mean, I'm not opposed, so I mean, if you're only talking a few dollars difference, but let's hope that someone doesn't question that 100, I mean, a good
I mean, we
question.
don't have to go with, if it's $164, that's not, we don't
Right.
have to go with, that's not the deciding factor, maybe that close. But But again,
We should be able to articulate
Yeah,
why
because
we're doing
they're
stuff.
protest.
and I cannot. So what I could do, honestly, we could have this for the next board meeting. Cause I really am not prepared. And I did not
I'd
have.
feel more comfortable, but
Yeah.
I'd move that we postpone it until our next meeting.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's moved and seconded to postpone, our workers' compensation carrier, until, the next meeting. Any discussion on that motion? No discussion, those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Okay, moving next to first reading with possible action to move to second reading, policy 1460. Federal expenditures and grant funding.
Okay. So this one's required, this is a brand new policy, it's required to have, to expend federal funds and to dispose of property paid for with federal funds. And it will bring us into compliance with federal law because we do not currently have any such policy that is required.
It's only 8 pages.
Yeah, it's just meeting the statutory requirements.
Did that have anything to do with the COVID funds?
Well, yeah, I mean, that impacts the COVID funds, but yeah.
There was my understanding is there was a finding because this policy was not in place and we were made aware, and so Melissa put together the policy. So that way, when we have our review, it's gonna show that it was corrected. There was not a financial finding, but it was a finding for not having the policy.
Wow.
I'd be interested if there's any comments on this.
Yeah. I'm sure everybody's dying to read it.
8 pages, indirect policy, exactly what is an indirect policy.
Some of the GAO types of things.
Yeah.
Okay.
I move that we put policy 1460, federal expenditures and grant funding, out to second reading.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded to, put policy 1460, which is federal expenditures and grant funding, out on second reading. Any discussion on the motion? If not, those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Moving next to first reading with possible action to move to second, policy 1740. That is walking student rates.
So I know that Dr. Seals asked about this a couple of times. And I went in, I reviewed the walking student rates and contacted the Department of Ed for guidance. I also looked at surrounding counties. And one of the things that was the biggest issue, I think, is, I don't know why, but they had it that the students were only paid one way, which didn't make sense. You're gonna pay them to go to school, you're not gonna pay them to walk back home. I mean, so that was really, did not make sense to me. So with this policy, it actually doubles the amount of money the student would get, because before it was only $1 a mile for after your first 2 miles. And so now it will be $1 each way. And it also, I tried to define, I took this one, went after it. I tried to define, one of the things that was stressed to me is that you have to make sure that there's no available bus route. So if a parent says, well, I don't want my child to ride the bus, I want to drive them, you have to pay me, that's not the way it goes. If we do not have a bus that actually runs a full route to a student's house, let's say a bus stops, at Napier and they live 3 miles beyond that, so wherever it stopped at Napier, then 3 miles from that, and then the parent gets paid, the student does not get paid, the parent gets paid to deliver the child to the closest bus stop and then to pick up the bus and then on the return. And then for every 1/10 of a mile, they get paid 10 cents.
Is there something magical about $1 per mile?
No, I know that, for example, Nicholas County was 70 cents
Yep,
per.
that's in the current policy.
It was a current policy, but when I looked at like Nicholas County, for example, was 70 cents a mile and that's each way. So theirs was a total of $1.40, ours is $2. So that's quite a bump compared to, you know, what other counties are, you know, getting paid.
But that won't hardly buy a popsicle these days.
Well, I mean, it's, I mean, if you look at what you get reimbursed at mileage, what the state and federal reimbursement of mileage is, you don't get reimbursed
$1.
$1. I mean, this is beyond, I mean, in fairness, probably should have gone with the, you know, what the state reimbursement rate is, but I didn't. I went ahead and bumped it up. I mean, it doesn't seem like a lot, but it's way more than what the allowance is.
We used to have a more generous policy on it. We had the threshold less than, I mean, we didn't have the 2 mile requirement. I think it was triggered at 1 mile.
I think the 2 miles is in state policy.
I think that's, I think you're right.
Yeah, there's been some changes since then. I mean, I don't think there's a lot of people utilize this, and honestly, I haven't had a chance to go back and really check it and see. Because I think, my understanding is, I think we service most residents. I don't think, you know, there's some routes, you know, that could potentially be cut in the future, which I wouldn't want to do, then those people would be eligible. But I think it's our job to try to get every kid to school that we can get to school.
There's an area on one of the sleeves, I think it's lower, cow skin. We had, when I was superintendent, we had a family come in here one time, and wanted the bus sent down to cow skin. I told them that we'd be ahead to buy the parents a house in town.
I live on Lower Sleep.
And move.
Yeah, so, yeah, it's tight road, so I understand.
I mean, and
Because
there's,
we have to drive out, you know, it's 1.1 miles from my house, so, you know.
But this was, there were some 4 or 5 miles, I mean, it was a long
And
distance.
I know that there was a lady who drove a van, you know, that picked up
We
down in
hired
there
a
too.
yeah, I mean,
contract bus down in there.
Yeah, that's what, yeah.
but there's situations, you know, of course, there's not, you know, if you don't have a spot to turn around, or
Right.
the road's not, you know, capable of for, you know, bus and things like that. But I think, from my understanding, and I would have to go check, but from my understanding, I think we serve most students. I think there's probably very few.
But the Crates Mountain area, we used to have a contract there. I don't know whether the bus starts up in Crates Mountain anymore, I doubt it does.
I'm not sure how far up it goes, up Carpenter's Wharf.
And, I don't know about Gregory, I don't know about,
Yeah. Yeah, Gregory's probably be left.
We'll see what kind of comments we get. I'll entertain a motion to move it to second reading.
I'll make a motion that we, move policy 1740 to second reading.
I'll second that motion.
Moved and seconded to move, policy 1740, which is walking student rates policy, on to second reading. Any discussion on that motion? No discussion. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Moving next to another second reading proposal, 3210, which is critical need and shortage professional substitutes.
This is just that annual update. The only thing that was changed was the date for our substitutes. It just has to be reviewed by the board annually.
I'll make a motion that we move policy 3210 and 3211, only date updates.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to move, policy 3210 and 3211 to second reading, which is critical need and shortage professional substitutes and critical need and shortage substitute bus operators. Any discussion on that motion? No discussion. Those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Moving next to, first reading with possible second, policy 4200, expected behavior in safe and supportive schools.
Well, notice the policy that I wrote was very short. This very lengthy one came from Melissa.
That's a lawyer for you.
Courtesy of the legislature.
So one of the things with this policy, which I'm really glad she did this, she actually took policies 4200, 4210, 4220, 4230, and 4231, and Senate Bill 199, and put them all into one policy. And, which makes sense. It's very, 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 very prescriptive as to what can be done. When we've had discussions about this, I'm not sure how much this policy is going to help anyone, because special education students, you still have to follow the federal law for special ed students. There's, when you read through the policy, it's like the one that says, removal of disorderly students, 6th through 12th grade, where it says, students shall be, removed from a classroom, or if a student is removed from a classroom a total of 3 times in 1 month, for one or more of the behaviors set forth in this subsection, the student shall receive, as determined by the principal, an in-school suspension or an out-of-school suspension, or may be considered for placement in an alternative center or with a licensed behavioral health agency if one is available within the school district. So, whereas before a lot of this stuff was just left up to superintendents to make these decisions or principals to make the decisions, they really made it very, very detailed. I guess so that there's consistency, and probably because some people weren't doing their jobs to carry this out. But in a way, I feel like it kind of ties my hands. I liked having the opportunity, more of an opportunity to make decisions as it relates to individual students. We have individualized education plans for students, and students are individuals, and I think you should look at them all as an individual and make determinations, based upon every circumstance, but this makes it very, very prescribed. So in a way, I feel like it ties my hands, but it is what it is. Can't do much about it.
I'll make a motion that we put policy 4200, expected behavior in safe and supportive schools, out for second reading.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to move policy 4200 to second reading. Any discussion on the motion? No discussion. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Moving next to third and final reading, policy 4211, student cell phone use in schools.
Okay, here's a copy of, we have one comment. Pass that out to you. The comment was from Sarah Rexroad. She said, this comment is neither for or against said policy. However, I would caution administration in taking all access to cell phones away from students. There was a situation this year where my student and others were in a college class in Pierpont section of the school, and the school went on lockdown. From what I understand, there are no intercoms to this section, and these students weren't notified of the lockdown. When they left the class and realized they were the only students in the halls, they used their cell phone to call another teacher to ask what was going on. In this case, it was only a lockdown because law enforcement was taking the student out of school, but what if it had been an active shooter? It gives me great concern to think that these students would have done what they would have done had they not been able to contact someone. They would have continued in the hall and come face to face with an active shooter. I would also like to add that you can write all the policies in the world, that unless they're enforced by administration, they are useless. There is a double standard in Braxton County schools where some are allowed and some are not. Until these policies will continue to be useless. The response is the policy was drafted in response to the passage of House Bill 2003, which mandates that county boards pass a policy prohibiting the student use of cell phones during instructional time. This policy balances the reality that cell phones are a necessary part of daily life, even for students, with the requirements of the West Virginia law. and it will be up to the principals and staff to enforce the policy. It is intended that all policies be carried out in a uniform and fair manner. So one of the things also is that we have an Emergent 3 app. So had there been an active shooter, had there been a situation like that, the teacher would have gone into mode and the students would have known. It is true that we do not have an intercom system there.
Yet.
That's something that we are working on. We just recently started using the school this year, so it's gonna take a lot to get it, everything in place. But the teachers have phones, they have access, the students shouldn't be without the teachers, so that's the response. And I'm not sure really the statements are relevant to the policy itself, if you read the policy and what it says.
Sounded like someone just trying to get around the policy. Well, in saying that, I also know that there are some teachers that just let the kids do whatever they want to. That's pretty evident at the high school level, so.
Are you talking about with using the phones?
Mm.
Well, as far as some of the things, and of course I know there's a different philosophy on different things. I've been at the high school. I can tell you that if you're looking at a real world application, our students are provided with one-to-one devices, but typically what most people use are their phones when they're doing daily activities and things. I do know that I've been in different classrooms where the teachers have had the students using their phones and learning, doing the research, doing graphing, doing lots and lots of different things. I can tell you that I've been, as being a superintendent, you go through many, many things. And I can tell you, I was actually in the middle of a court case once, in a courtroom, and the attorney before the Supreme Court walked in. I said, "You don't have a computer or laptop, iPad, nothing?" The attorney said, "Nope, it's all right here," and would pull up and read everything from the phone. So, I have really mixed feelings on that. I know it can also be a distraction. I know what you're saying, and it can cause a lot of issues with social media and things like that. And there's also proper ways to use it. But I think that the policy is very clear on the standards and not using it during instructional time. Not for instructional purposes, but I believe that it also allows for instructional purposes.
It does.
So I think the policy that we have written and is a very fair representation of, what has been passed by the legislature.
Dual credit classes where you have college given credit, it's really not a regular setting. I think there's some special things.
Yeah, we changed that, yeah.
Provisions for that too.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the policy. Having read the one comment that was received.
I'll make a motion to accept the third and final reading, possible action, adopting proposed policy 4211, student cell phone use in schools.
I'll second that motion.
Moved and seconded to, adopt policy 4211, student cell phone use in schools. The one comment noted, I guess, was that the only comment through all third reading?
No, we had other comments
Early on.
and we read and addressed those.
Yeah.
Right. All right, any discussion on that motion? No discussion, those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. And move next to board member remarks. Ms. Lisa?
I just want to congratulate again the retired employees for the 24-25 school year and thank the other retired employees from Braxton County for the food.
Thanks.
Okay, Kevin?
Yeah, I'll just, reiterate Lisa's thanks to just the years and the legacy those individuals provided to this county and this, state and nation. So, congratulations to them, and hope they have a great retirement, and hope they do fill out their applications to come back and work with us again. And several of those individuals I was a student with or before, so that's where we're at as we all move forward in life, so. Cool.
All right, Larry?
I don't have a whole lot to say other than we lost several really good teachers and personnel, servant personnel this year, and they'll be missed, that's for sure.
Okay, Kevin?
I concur with what's been said. I guess we do lose a lot of talent, and I always worry about the new ones coming, whether or not we have the capacity to replace some people with someone that's near or equal to. I think I was superintendent and recommended, I think, 6 or so of these people. So I go back a long way with these.
We're telling our age, Kenneth.
It's almost like this generation is moving on.
Exactly.
I wish them well.
Exactly. Well, I'd just like to reiterate and congratulate our retired employees. They certainly have earned a decent retirement, and as Kevin said, we hope that some of them can get a rest. Well, you didn't say that, but hopefully they get a short rest and come back and help us out, because they're experienced and they certainly have come full circle. Hired by Dr. Seal, now going out with Dr. Seal being a board member, and I think I was on the board too with some of them. But I'd like to just close with reading this thank you note from the HOSA group. Thank you for your generous support in helping our students reach their fundraising goal to attend the state competition. Because of your kindness, we had the opportunity to showcase our hard work and skills. We're proud to share that 6 out of 7 students placed in the top 4 of the state. Your contribution made a real difference, and we are truly grateful. We now have 3 students going on to complete in Nashville, Tennessee. Stephanie Moore advisor, and it was signed by all of her students.
Very good.
Just proud of our kids and all their accomplishments, and just keep up the good work. Appreciate it. And I guess we're now down to adjournment, and it is 7:38 p.m.